Hi, beautiful women. Good afternoon. So excited about this interview tonight with our gorgeous client and community moderator, Evangeline. I am so happy that we have her on this evening. Hi, Evangeline.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, everybody.
Thank you so much for being here, beautiful woman. I'm so excited to have you with us again. You were a much loved interview the first time around, and we decided to have her back on the podcast. I love calling it that. To talk about marriage tonight. And if you guys are new, welcome to the High Value Woman. We're so excited to have you with us. I'm Lauren Stefanowski, and I'm with the High Value Woman Facebook group, which is this very group on Facebook, this little home for feminine women who want to attract, dream, love. I say little, there's 50,000 women in here. This group was founded by Giordana Toccacelli, our creator and CEO, our founder, who we love and call Gio. Both Evangeline's and my coach and mentor as well. And Gio is a top in the world relationship teacher and inner work expert. I'm a coach with her, and we have masterminds and programs that are currently helping women all around the world heal with feminine energy radiance and attract dream love with legacy kings into their lives. So we teach you how to go from single to married, like Evangeline is now, to legacy kings, which are men that are amazing. And we're going to get into with Evangeline the kind of man that she is married to and the kind of man that we help our clients attract every single day. We also are very passionate about helping women step into what we call the feminine legacy of being adored, which means being adored, being cherished as a woman, being supported, being loved. So tonight, Evangeline and I will talk about how to have a successful marriage that honors the masculine and the feminine. And I just wanted to share briefly, this is so important before we dive in. It's so important to have a marriage that honors the feminine and to choose a man that honors the feminine. And because of the legacy that leaves around that woman and the way that impacts a woman's life. So you'll hear Evangeline share tonight the beautiful impact of a legacy king on a woman when we're with a man that sees himself as a protector of the feminine, as a rock of the feminine, as a support. That's a man we call a legacy king. And it's different to the type that we call a Peter Pan, who sees women as the caretaker, the Wendy, or the Tinkerbell, the reactive, needy, overreactive, dependent child. That's how he views the feminine, which is not in alignment with what is right relationship with the feminine and who we're meant to be, where we thrive. So we're going to get into it, how to get a masculine man to wife you up and how to keep the passion alive and adored and be adored as a feminine woman in that marriage. So we're celebrating marriage tonight. We're celebrating how good marriage can be and how good it really gets to be, as well as giving you guys some tips and tricks to keep your marriages or relationships alive using feminine energy. All right, so let's dive into it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. So happy to be here with you.
Me too. And you just got back from a beautiful vacation with your man, right?
Yeah, it was my dream vacation. We were on Oahu for 10 days. Oh, it was so nice. It was so beautiful. The weather, everyone, the culture, how we the food.
Amazing.
That was so beautiful.
Amazing. You're like glowing and tan. I love it. So let's start with this first question around needs. A lot of women ask us, how do I communicate needs to my man? How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I'll start by also sharing how I don't do it, because I feel like this is really important to me. I've had some failed relationships, and not the, I guess it's like an alternative to the word failure. It's like you learned how to not do it and learn to what we do. And what I propose to do is bark my needs at a man or demand them. It's really hard and anxiety when I had a need, and I do it much differently now. I've done a lot of studying with you ladies. That's a huge part of me. So now I know how to, first of all, like meet my needs as much as I can myself. And then I'm not so starving. So then I can, if I have something in the conflict, ask him in a soft way. I can have him back on it. And he always just wants to kind of rush and help.
You realize what was the last thing you understand from that place? But it now.
I know, I'm like, I think it was like something dumb, like getting something down that was you know? And I just decided to turn all of you. And he said like, yeah, I could have moved the ladder, but he's right there. And so I just kind of melted into his arms and said, you're so tall, will you help me with this? But feels like the hero when you tell him is my hero.
So good, so feminine and so complete, doesn't come with that reactivity you're talking to about the point of when we're deprived, we are starving for it and we really love it versus when we can speak it with vulnerability. So it sounds like that's exactly what you do. What about your feelings? Let's say you have a feeling that's like really deep and you really want to share it with him. What is like a way that you say it to him that really melts his heart and connects to his heart?
What do you mean?
Like let's say you're sad and
Like a big feeling,
like a big one. Yeah.
I always just take a few breaths, and that can be like a few breaths or a few days at times, and I just sit with it myself, and I ask myself, what's really going on with this. So it's not my knee-jerk reaction to go right to him all the time. I oftentimes have to check in with myself. And that really helps because I can kind of cool things down on my own, have my own processes, and it's not, fair to him for me to be like, he's got a busy life. He runs a business, like a big business. And so I don't, anything I ask him for or tell him I need, he will literally be like, right. So I don't abuse it. I just make sure that I've gotten myself to a place of where I can be calm and kind, and then he's right there.
And then he's right there. Yeah. How does he show up for you when you are at that place? And by the way, it's the sense of letting him be the man and not tearing down his legacy, right? Not using your activity and neediness. When you're not a man who's building a legacy with reactivity and neediness, we threaten to tear down the legacy. And as a woman who is deeply loved and supported by this man, that legacy is for us, right? He's doing it in large part for you. And so to come at that legacy and tear it down is outside of our relationship with people that are invested. Doesn't actually serve him or us. So how does he start? He feels very seen by you for your ownership over your emotions by not spewing them at him and coming at him with that, or just being grounded and contained and healthy, emotionally healthy.
Stand eventually, but
Yeah,
I said you might have
you can make it one step.
always so I need so he's always thinking about things very
you're gonna be fine like this, honestly.
quickly and slowly.
But
I'm a little bit I can be all over the place.
subtitle it.
Helps to slow down.
Phoebe's wanting me to take the interviews that I've had with some
would like
check
to
the ones that can be package for one committee.
With organizing,
We have great list stuff on this.
that was at the bottom of all your things. And he's like, well, let me help you about I've got the engineer mind. That's what it was. And so, yeah. To answer both of the questions.
So cute. And he wants to be helpful because you let him be the man because he is the man. He rises into that space. Which leads me to the next question. That is an answer to my next question I want to ask you is, how do you inspire him to give you more and take care of you? And that would be probably one of the ways, right? Is letting him be a man and giving him ways to win and acknowledging that there are things that he can do for you better than you could do yourself or would want to do yourself. For example, like providing financially or getting the job or whatever. So can you speak to that question? So good.
Yeah.
So you don't need to have him up on a stand out there.
No.
I don't think we need to have him on a stand out there,
No.
because we're not trying to protect the board from the water.
And they want to know that what they did. And what they did actually had
We're that little,
an
or
effect.
that would have demons. I think so, yeah.
You use that over, and I'll move that there, and I'll move the seat as well.
It's like a snowball effect. So he does something for me and I gush with gratitude. And I grab him and I kiss him all over his face and I tell him he's my hero and I say thank you constantly. And I show him with my body language. I get all giddy, my shoulders are here giggling and he gets a smile and, you know, I just don't hold back my gratitude and my joy with him. It's also good to be able to just be like so open with him that I don't know, even if I could say that like maybe I look dumb, like being so happy like in other settings, but with him I'm like it just feels so natural and it's just me.
That's what Theo calls the radiant heart. Yeah, the radiant heart. The heart that is happy, like a child is happy, like free to express itself fully with no filter. Yeah. And love the radiant heart because it's because it feels so good, right? It feels so much like freedom to them. I do the same thing with my men. I just show up like a little kid sometimes, like goofy, really goofy. Just like totally goofy. You've got the big voices, you've got the happy twirls, you've got the you've got the accents that come on and love. What is happy accents and women or in different languages that I don't understand, I'm learning, but it's just so it's that essence to be totally free.
On that,
For now, so the cats have this normal stance.
if you bring it over, I'll put it on top.
Okay.
We are constantly having fun. I don't think as an hour passes by without us laughing.
No, we don't need to.
And we little bits at the same time.
He pushed it to the mouth, the more
Passion and solar.
Oh, sorry, the dish itself. It's set on. I mean, if you look over here.
There's a good mix. It's like a really good mix. We joke about sending each other funny animal videos, dogs and cats, especially from Instagram, and we exchange like every morning.
Yes, yeah, that.
We go on walks and I play this little game where I have to
That's a little higher.
Yeah, that's a nice background.
Yeah.
Just a little something.
We love to watch, we're watching The Bachelor right now. It's so funny and fun and we get a lot of laughter out of that one. Yeah, and we like to entertain also, so we have friends over for dinner and make delicious food and just share good times with people.
So you have a beautiful life together. It sounds like I know you have traveled and you really you can just glow as a light and not seem to thrive as with. I know one of your passions is plants, right? Gardening.
Did you know?
And how beautiful it is. You both put into that and express that way and how it makes you come alive. Like it's part of what makes you such an adored means those aspects of yourself, which I love so much. And I bet you that also is part of the criteria to see alive is you being yourself and continuing to pull those threads, tug on those threads of what makes you happy. But he also provides that space for you to do that too, which I think is so beautiful, and again, a template of the divine masculine supporting the feminine to really travel, explore. Because he gets that radiant heart from her when she's in her life. So how do you keep, this next question is more about the woman connecting to the man. How do you keep the intimacy alive? It's your just how do you work the chemistry?
Yeah, so it's, I think a lot of it has to do with me taking care of myself, like my health.
Yeah.
In all aspects of my health, so yeah, my body, my skin, going for my, making sure I exercise and stretch and keep myself flexible, And that was like kind of deeper meaning there. And also just for energy, so that I feel like it, Like I had the flu last year for maybe 10 weeks. And that is not happening. Like I don't feel like it. And so that makes it even more important for me to make sure that I'm healthy the rest of the year. And eating well, taking care of my skin so that I look good and I feel beautiful. So, it's not, for me, it's like that energy behind taking care of myself. It's not so much like the result of it. It's more like how much fun I have getting dressed. And then the fact that I feel beautiful. And I think that's what he's attracted to. And we just make sure together, we're a team. We make sure that we give it time. We make sure that we prioritize it together. We agreed on that from the beginning. And we just both stay committed to that.
That agreement from the beginning is so important, being aligned and not walking into the contract knowing what it is you're getting into in terms of that. I think one of the things we've seen a lot with clients is when there's mismatched up front, there can be a no contract defined up front, which is something we teach our clients to always do is know the contract you're walking into, know what that looks like, know what that means, whether it's how much you guys both like sex or not like sex, or just how you sleep, wear pajamas, if you wear lingerie, right? How is it set up from the get-go? What's the contract you're signing into? Because a lot of women will say, I didn't know this was what I was getting into, or the men would say, in the beginning, she wore all these cute outfits, she looked great all the time, and then once we got married, she just wore the big t-shirt to bed constantly, and I felt like, where'd my wife go? Where'd my girlfriend go? I want my girlfriend back. And that sense of giving ourselves what we need to feel beautiful, because that's always so important, the most important thing, that then we can give that to them and feel sensual and beautiful, and then they receive that beautiful connection with us. And so I love that so much. So yeah, do you want to add?
I want to add more things. Like I make sure and tell him how handsome I think he is, how amazing I think he smells, and how soft his skin is. I tell him things like that, and I show him how much I appreciate his body as well as his accomplishments. And I go crazy when he's like, babe, I got another account, and however much money a year this is going to be, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so I get really excited about all of his accomplishments, and I think it makes him feel sexy.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
So good. Yeah, men love compliments. They do. And that doesn't mean we have to overdo it or fake it, but it's real, right? You genuinely have so much respect for him as a man. You can see it in the way you talk. So it's easy. It's easy to have that, which is the importance of choosing a man we respect, right, ladies? Like if we fake it, it's gonna fall flat. But if you take the time up front to attract the man you're really excited about, confidence and complimenting and expressing is very easy to do. You genuinely think they're the hardest man ever.
Honest, he looks so good when he dresses up.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. So what are the secrets of being adored in marriage? Can we talk about the top 5 secrets of being adored? And if you were telling a younger version of you, what is it going to be that she needs to learn so that she can be adored by a man, like really loved and feel special?
For me, what?
I'll add some too.
Okay, cool. For me, what I would have told my younger self is, I probably would have said it differently than this, but it's along the lines of stop wasting your time on men who don't adore you. Hang on for somebody who does, and you make that the number one criteria in your dating.
Yeah.
If I had just done that, well, I did do that eventually, after a little bit of education from the Body Feminine Women Institute. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that should be like the number one. So in choosing my partner, I held out for someone who truly just adores me for who I am.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
For who you are, right? Because when we're coming from who we aren't, we're showing up as like the mother. We attract men that need the mother. So if we're constantly caretaking a man, stepping in to make everything about him, his needs, his timeline, cooking for him, buying his clothes, performing, being the perfect woman, that's the contract we're signing, right? We're signing saying, hey, it's what I'm getting into. And then we wonder why it wasn't love. But the opposite can be true. If you do the work to be seen as who you are in your life across the board, including with men, then you find a man who's looking for you already. It's beautiful. Okay, so that's number one. You want me to add number two, or do you want to do number two?
I have another idea.
Yeah.
So what comes to mind is, so to be adored, you have to be adorable in the first place. That's where my mind went. I'm like, you know, if I'm not being adorable, how can I expect somebody to adore me?
I love that. Damn. That's great. I love that. And what does it mean to you to be adored?
Well, if he loved me for who I am in the first place, I can just keep being that and be love himself, and then it's easy.
Yes.
And
That's for you.
so for me, it's following what I'm passionate about, what I love. Our whole house is filled with plants. And he loved it too, because it's me. And you know, our house is a reflection of me. I've made it beautiful. I cook for us sometimes, that's a reflection of me. So I'm doing things that make me really happy and taking care of myself. And then I can be relaxed and stress-free. And then my true self is just here. That little kid version of myself. And that's what he loves.
So good. That is so, so good. And in terms of,
If I'm not feeling that, like if something is going on, because that's life will bring those things to you sometimes, then I just do what I need to do to come back to that.
yeah. And what does that look like? For me, it's inner work. It's doing the inner work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that was my number three. It was do the inner work so that you can find your heart and touch her. Because most of us, I certainly, before I found Gio and her mastermind, lived outside my heart. I didn't have a connection to her. All I knew with love was self-abandonment and performing, because I didn't have a relationship with myself as worthy. I believed that I was here to literally serve and chase men and be the light in men that was left depleted. So I would attract Peter Pans that asked out of me. So doing the inner work to find a new relationship with love, where the way we know we've done that, we start attracting different. We start being attracted to different. We start attracting men that honor us because we've done the work to learn how to honor ourselves, how to set the boundaries, how to say no when we mean no, how to say yes when we mean yes, and go for our desires fully heartedly. When we're in codependency, we really don't know what our desires are. We don't know who we are. So we have to go through that process, right? Which is also what you did with Gio's inner work.
Yeah, and I continue to, as can't just like do it a little bit and then it's done. So I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
But it's so much, it happens faster for me now that I have so much experience with it, and the result is yeah, faster and just easier.
you can go through, so we have a methodology that Gio created called the 10 questions for heart healing. And I remember they used to take me 30 minutes. Now I can go through them a lot quicker, but still, so yeah, still it's, yeah, we get to have those long times too, where we sit and we feel, and those become our spaces of communing with ourselves and healing. Okay, so number 4, secret to being adored. What would you say? If you were talking to Evangeline 12 years ago,
Hmm,
Yeah, that's
12 years ago, oh dang. Let's see. You don't have to try so hard. So actually, like, not trying, I think is the truth. It's and that's not being lazy either, but it's like, I used to overwork, that's what I'm gathering, overwork for love, work for approval and love and validation. No, it's more, you can find that from inside.
mm, yeah, good. That's so good. That's a sign when we heal is we give up those old ways of relating to love. So for some women, it's overworking. It's taking on the burden of the relationship, doing a lot of the work a man should do. For example, provide financially, perform, be the perfect woman, get needy, anxious, or on the other side, avoidance, making a man jump over a wall to access us, or making people jump over a wall to access us, which you'll know people typically call us cold or guarded or aloof. Means there's a wall up. That's emotional unavailability. And it's the same, it's just the other side of the coin of the needy, anxious woman who chases and self-abandons. They're both self-abandonment, because the true self is comfortable being seen in all her glory, in all her radiance, and without having to overwork for it and self-abandon. And that's what a free woman is. It's a woman who's free to express herself in her life. I love that. And thank you. Number 5, to being adored.
I think one is, well, just let him adore me. He wants to. So it's like, accept his influence.
Receive.
Receive him.
Yeah.
Let him help me. Let him give me ideas. Let him coach me on on how to put it back in the refrigerator in the geometric way. Like, let it, because he wants to, and then show my appreciation to him in the moment. I'm thankful and giddy. He wants to do it more. And I feel like it's that, like that snowball I was talking about.
Exactly. It's the snowball because you're receiving it. And that is what triggers a man's lifetime devotion, is receiving from him. It also is often what saps marriages. So intimacy is when a woman stops that cycle because she feels scared to receive, like she's asking for too much, or she feels scared and vulnerable. It can be sometimes vulnerable. It definitely was for me to just show a man how happy it made me when he bought me roses. It was way easier to say, oh, I don't need the roses, than to say, these roses are the best thing. It's proud. I've never seen such beautiful roses. These are the most beautiful roses I've ever seen. Take good photos and send them to everyone I know. Like, show them Instagram selfie on his next to it. We love it, and we want to show him what it means, what it does for us. And then, yeah, that man will keep giving and giving and giving, right? And that's how your man has shown up for you. He's never, has he once wavered in his husbandry with you and showing up as a husband?
No.
Because she's in alignment with the divine feminine, what the divine masculine needs from us to be what we need from him.
I mean, he says all the time, he's like that when I thank him for something that was husbandy, he just says, that's my job.
Yeah.
My job. That's my duty. And he talks about his husbandly duty of this piece of metal or something flew off the roof in a windstorm about a few weeks ago. And he said, I'm gonna go do my husbandly duty and go to Home Depot today and fix this up. I just felt so grateful to have a husband in the moment. I did not want to do that.
Without even having to ask.
You didn't have to ask. Nope.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think my man is the same. He'll see something and do it. It's not, hey, take the thing out, do the thing ad nauseum. It's my duty. If it's out of place, I fix it.
Yeah. If he sees me taking the trash out, he's like, no. Babe."
Yeah. They have like shock in their eyes, don't they? It's like if you attempt to do it, they're like, what? Why are you doing that? God, so good. Okay, let's go to the radiance piece in terms of how you take care of yourself, and because you are such a radiant woman, how do you stay radiant as a wife and take care of yourself in a way that sustains your relationship?
My first thought is very thick skin cream.
Yeah.
Their skin glows.
Blood.
The big sticky kind. No, I love just taking care of myself, cosmetically speaking, and I just do all these weird things for my health that aren't necessarily available in all areas of the country. I live in the San Diego area, so we have a pretty big health population here. So I've been doing hyperbaric oxygen therapy. It's just this really cool, and it just makes me feel so good. And I've been working out with a trainer. We hired a chef recently who makes this amazing, delicious food, and I don't have to work so hard and cook. So I used to be a cook, and feel like just finding these amazing ways to make our life better. A lot of the ideas are his, and then some are mine. We're a great team, and I allow him to take care of me too, and I take care of him, and yeah. So emotional healing is another huge component, and that's how I would stay radiant, because if my heart is hurting over something, I need to address that. And when I do, I deepen my relationship with myself, and it just really is outward from there. Everything I found my happiness again.
So powerful, your ministry.
That shows all spirit.
Thank you. And I'm sure it's really awesome as well. How do you get him to be, or I guess, how do you get him? How do you inspire him to make you a priority in those romantic time? What's your way of doing that?
It's funny, I'm like, I don't know if I do. He just it's just kind of magical. He just does it. And then I think about it, I'm like, well, it must be me being some certain way. I'm being awesome in some way that he, that he wants to keep showing up like that. But I think it's what I've noticed, the trends that I've noticed are when I'm happy and I'm expressing that happiness, he wants to just feed into that even more.
Yeah.
I mean, if I tell him I'm hungry, the man takes me out to dinner. So it's expressing my feelings to him too. And, not in any sort of overbearing way that I'm doing it every 5 seconds. It's like a little bit here and there, because I know he wants to know how I'm doing. So he'll ask me, hey, how was your day? What do you want to do tonight? He gives me the open space to just express what I want, and he just wants to give that to me.
Okay. Very nice. So it's in the way you sustain your happiness, and everything you said about keeping your happiness a #1 priority, which we just did a live on last Friday. It's in the group, ladies, if you want to watch it afterwards. If you want to do a little binge watch, it's on exactly that. Like NGO Geo teaches this. It's if the woman can't sustain her happiness, the marriage cannot sustain itself. So if we cannot sustain our happiness, if we're looking for a man to be that happiness, if we're waiting for him to make plans and resentful when he doesn't, the marriage is a ticking time bomb. Truly, what is the quote from Geo? It's the measure of success of a marriage is literally how well a woman can sustain her happiness. And when we're codependent, we reject that. We say, no, it's not our job to make ourselves happy. So powerful, and you're speaking to the choir. Okay, so can you just share your timeline? So when did he ask for exclusivity and how did you inspire him to want to go from exclusivity to marriage?
Yeah, again, I'm like, did I do that? Probably. I didn't have that like plan in mind ahead of time. It happened actually pretty quickly with us. And I was genuinely surprised. And so, well, okay, I'll back up. When we met, for him, it was love at first sight. We met actually in this room. Friends invited us, mutual friends invited both of us just kind of randomly to a business meeting. And I learned this 6 or 8 months later that it was love at first sight for him. And I wasn't looking at the time. I was, kind of dating somebody else and just not really open to that kind of thing. So I knew that I loved him and thought he was amazing. And we were just friends for a while. We actually became really good friends. And then some space cleared and he approached me. And this was I think in November, a few years ago. It was in November. And it moved pretty quickly after that because we already had known each other and it just was like natural. And he, within like 3 months or 2 months, he invited me to live with him. And the morning after I moved in with him, he surprised me with a ring and asked me to marry him. He said he wanted to make an honest woman out of me, and he wanted me to know that his intentions were really serious, that we're not just shacking up here. He wants me to be his wife.
I love it. I have goosebumps. That's like legacy kings know they want marriage.
He knew it, yeah.
And the difference is a Peter Pan can't sustain it, a legacy king can, right?
Wow.
If you don't know the difference, reach out to me. I can give you the support options to learn, right? Because this is the difference. A Peter Pan is going to be flippant with his word. A legacy king is going to know what that word means, and he will have spent his whole life preparing to be a husband. That's what makes him a legacy king, a builder of nations, builder of families. He's prepared in that role, and he protects that role. He sees himself as his duty to be a husband to a woman that is everything Evangeline is describing she is. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that. And last question, what was going on for you when you met him? So we talk about this a lot, like how do you prepare yourself to be a wife? Even though you weren't doing that intentionally necessarily, but mentally, where were you at? What was the work you've done to bring him in? Where were you?
Well, I had already been, obsessively reading all of your Facebook posts that are in the group. Everything, Geo, I think that was like a little bit before you started writing posts, but anyway, all of the posts. And I think I signed up for a couple of, little classes here and there. And I just became obsessed with the idea of, oh, hey, there's this type of man out there that exists that is what I want. And I didn't even, it's like almost like I didn't even really know about this magical creature of a legacy man, a legacy king, a high value man. And the moment you guys enlightened me to that this exists, I was like, oh, I want that. And it just became clear to me that that's what I wanted. So I had already been doing that work in the group and with Geo and you, and I knew that there was a difference between dating for alignment and dating to fill a void. And so I was, working my way into the idea of dating for alignment. So I had already been, it took a few relationships, but like each time it got better and it got better. And then I'm finally in, the summer before he approached me, and I actually wrote down on a note in my phone what it was exactly that I wanted. So I was dating this guy, wasn't really happy. A friend of mine said, hey, why don't you just admit that you're not happy? Like, you're not okay in this. And I said, you know what? You're right. This is not what I want. And so I wrote down what I did want so clearly. Like exactly. I finally was able to not feel embarrassed anymore to state what I wanted. I didn't tell anybody, I just I told my phone. And
Yeah.
2 weeks later, Charles was opening up to me in the kitchen of this house and was telling me that he loved me, and if I was to be his woman, then he would love me better than any man who's ever loved me before. He knew that, and I believed him, and he has proved it every single day since then.
I'm so beautiful. It's so beautiful, thank you. Okay, that's all my questions. Let's see if anyone's asking anything as I'm here tearing up. Thank you so much, Evangeline. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being willing to come on and be so vulnerable and give so many solid tips. You just gave me so much, and the women are saying the same in the comments. They're a little delayed, but they're coming in. And we're grateful. Thank you. We love you very much. You were like amazing. I spilled my kombucha. It's done. You're
the goof.
the goof. But no, we just love having you. Thank you for being such a light in this community. And ladies, you'll see Evangeline in here. She is the community manager of our group. So she's here setting boundaries, giving comments, sharing her love, supporting women, and we just are so grateful to have her. So thank you, beautiful woman.
Oh, thank you. It's mutual.
Love you. And I know you have plans, so I'll let you go as I close it out. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.
Love you.
Thank you to Gio for all of the powerful work that she did.
Thank you so much. Love you.
Love you so much, Gio.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.